What's up, guys? This is Manoj Oprani. I welcome you all on behalf of the Edipedia world. So, guys, this is the fourth video presentation relating to the topic of equity analysis and valuation. By now, we have already covered our three video presentations on the same topics, covering the fundamental analysis and the major chunk for technical analysis. In this video, I'll be covering about charts and one important topic for support and resistance, wherein you'll be able to know much more about the stock market and the analysis with which you can extract the best kind of returns with securities market. So I am sure that you guys are enjoying your day to the fullest, and certainly you are honoring your word. Remember, guys, regular revisions are the key to success for this particular segment, and which is CA final. So without a delay, let's hit start. So guys, what is a chart? Okay, I'm not talking about any kind of chart paper. Right. As far as the charts are being concerned with the stock market, a price chart is basically a sequence of prices plotted over a specific time frame. Okay. So that's the brief definition. It's basically a price chart. It's a sequence of prices which are plotted over a specific time frame. Okay. Supposedly, today market opens and one of the share prices is rupees 800. By the time it's 12 o'clock, the prices stick to 820. By the time it's winding up, so like 3:30, so the prices goes for 850. So what did you analyze with the chart? That it is going with an upward trend. Price was open at a position of 800 and it closed at a position of 850, and meanwhile it must have hit a bottom with a 790 750 in between, and it would have been went for a high that would have been 870 880, though it's not a kind of situation which is actually happening these kind of days. Usually circuit is available, filter is available in the market, wherein the trading gets stops after the share hits bottom 10% or goes up high for 10%. Usually that goes on, it depends upon the different companies and industries. So 10% is usually the most common filter which is available. So charts basically provide you the kind of information relating to the past price trends which are going on in the different time frames. That's how it goes on. So a price chart is basically a sequence of prices plotted over a specific time frame. Charts are referred to as time series plots. On a chart, the x-axis represents the time scale, whereas the y-axis, that is the vertical one, represents the price scale. Okay, so price scale, by price scale I mean 800, 820, 850, 870, 900, and by time scale I mean 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, then 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3:30, close. So that's how it works. Prices are plotted from left to right across the x-axis, with the most recent plot being the furthest right. In any kind of security, any security with the price data over a period of time can be used to form chart for analysis. So that can not just happen to any kind of stock market. Let's suppose, had it been having such kind of inefficiencies and efficiencies in a normal vendor market, you go for purchasing of a potato, okay, and you ask for a price at 6 o'clock in the evening. So the person who is selling those potatoes tell you, okay, that prices is 40 rupees kg, and by the time you go back to that same person at 7 o'clock, sir, what can we do? The prices have already increased. Now the prices would be 45 rupees per kg, and you'll be shocked to know that, right? So that can happen with any kind of security market. So not just security market, but any other kind of market, whether it's vegetable market as well. So charts can be prepared with the help of those two. However, there the prices usually don't fluctuate. So that's the only reason why normal kind of markets are not having any kind of charts. Though charts can be prepared, had it been, fluctuations would have been there in the prices. But in kind of security market, any security with a price data over a period of time with the fluctuations, that can be used to form the chart for analysis. So what's the major type of charts that we'll be studying? Line chart, bar chart, and candlestick chart. So I'm sure that you guys will tempted to know about what does actually chart look like and how it works. So I won't keep you in any kind of further delay. Let's head straight to the next topic, and that is line chart. So guys, this is how a line chart usually looks. It's a kind of snipping tool which I obtained from one of the website, that is NSEindia.com, that was available on Google. That's the kind of website on which trading is being taking place. So National Stock Exchange, that's its official site. So that's the share price for Interglobe Aviation Limited. Interglobe is Indigo Airlines, if I'll have to tell you of the same. So the stock price was on 25th of November. It was, kindly have a look at the cursor. So on 25th of November, 3:30 p.m. by the time it closed, so the stock price was 872. It went up as far as the closing price of last day was concerned by rupees 4.70, which was 0.45% overall average. It opened at a position of 870 rupees. The all-time low for the day was 851. The all-time high for the stock in the day was 876. Now you can understand the situation by clearly. So this is, guys, the y-axis. The y-axis is basically the vertical one. Okay, so this one is telling you about the prices: 850, 855, 860, 865, 870, 875. And this is the x-axis. This is the horizontal one. Okay, and it is basically providing you the time frame: 10 a.m., 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. So now you can just relate to the position of the stock. The price started at 870 and it touched the high price for the day, which would have been like almost 876, which is available over here, high price, and it went for a low, all-time low at almost 1145, and that was 851, and it closed at a position of 872 finally. So its previous day close was 867.30, and hence it made up a profit on behalf of like all-time betterment in terms of 4.70 rupees with today's. So that's how it looks upon. So this is basically the line chart wherein you'll be able to understand the price movement. How did the price fared well? How did the stock fared well all during the day? Did it fare well? Did it fare not well? Or it's extremely bad kind of situation? So that you'll be able to understand with the line chart. That's how it works, guys. Next comes the bar chart. So this is how a bar chart looks like. Again, it's been taken for Interglobe Aviation, that is Indigo. So a bar chart, you'll be analyzing these kind of figures. So you must be thinking about what is these kind of bars and things are available over here. So I'll tell you something about them. So a bar chart basically allows you to go for the kind of price movements in terms of its open price, its close price, its low price, its high price. Okay, let's refer to this, the largest segment. Okay, so the lowest price which was anticipated during 9th of November was this. This was the touched bottom part. So it would have been like almost, if you'll be referring this, around 809 or something. Okay, 809, 8010, 8110. Okay, around 820 finally. Okay, and if we'll be talking about the kind of maximum that would have been anticipated, would have been this, that is more than 975, almost 960 over here. These are basically about the open and the close price. These two, these are about the open and the close price. This is the highest peak of the day. This is the lowest one of the day. That's how it is being done. That's how bar chart usually flows. In a line kind of data, you will be getting the returns like this. However, in case of bar data, simply a bar will be available wherein you'll be able to extract, okay, this was the lowest price, this was the highest price, these were the open and the close price, wherein you'll be able to evaluate the final line of synopsis for a particular day segment, its high, its low, and its open and its close format. That's how it goes on. As far as this picture is concerned, Intergroup Securities was trading at 870 rupees, and that was on 25th of November. During some moment of time, this was the volume which was being traded. Open price was rupees 870. Higher price was 876. That was discussed in the last slight, and the lowest price was 851.35. So that was how that is actually how a bar chart usually works. Now let's move on to our next chart for the day, and that will be candlestick. So guys, this one is another most popular kind of chart which is available with most of the security traders, hedgers in the market. This was originated in the like almost 300 years ago in Japan. So for a candlestick chart, basically, it's one of the most it's actually getting popular in the recent years. So for any kind of candlestick chart, the open, the high, the low, and the close positions are all required. A daily candlestick is usually based upon the open price, the intraday high, the low, and the close position. So this is how actually a candlestick chart usually looks. This is a snapshot for one of the securities for Interglobe Aviation, that is Indigo. So you can simply see, guys, that in this particular chart which has been presented in this presentation, there are few boxes for blue color, there are some of the boxes for white color. So white and blue is basically the body over here. So if the position of the body, the color of the body is white or it's clear, it simply means that for a particular day, the closing price was higher than the opening price for that particular day. So if you can see on 9th November, it's the white body, whereas on 15th November, it's blue color body. So on 9th of November, the open price was around 875, whereas it did close for around 950. So that's how it is. It actually shows. However, on the next day, it fall from its opening price. So that was about the color coding. Apart from that, it's also showing some of the colors relating to the shadow. So this tail and this head which is available, that is particularly the shadow. Shadow basically means about the open position and the close position for the higher limit and lower limit. So what was the all-time low expectation shadow? That was on 9th around 800, and as far as the higher shadow is available, that is 975, if you can just see over here. So that's about the candlestick chart basically. So white candlesticks usually form when closes higher than the opening, and black or solid or blue color in this case candlesticks form when closes lower than the open one. White and blue portion in this particular chart, if I'll tell you, so basically forms when open and the close, which is called as body, and the lines which are above and below are basically called as shadows. They represent the high and the low. So these are the charting methods which are being available while providing for any other kind of analysis as far as technical analysis is being concerned. So you can go for any kind of chart. It may be line chart, it may be bar chart, it may be candlestick chart. That will help you in analyzing the situation in which kind of security you should invest in and which kind of security you shouldn't invest. So that's the beauty of all these charts. They are providing you a simplified kind of results. Little or very less kind of price movement is fluctuating in these of the case, so it's usually deemed irrelevant, and hence you can go for any of these charts while going for your particular technical analysis, and hence you'll be able to provide the best and extract the best kind of returns while going for it. So that was all about the candlestick chart. I hope you guys got the complete clarity as to what these different chart means. Now let's move on to our next segment, and that is support and resistance. So guys, what does support and resistance actually mean? As the name itself says, support, what do you expect about the meaning, or what do you understand from the meaning of support? So guys, support in any case, it simply means like providing some kind of support, some kind of hold from the bottom, right? So that's where you get the support from. Support is something, the kind of friction, the kind of force which is enabling you not to fall down. So that's how support is given. However, in case of resistance, resistance is stopping from the upper side, like resistance or resisting your temptation towards any kind of food. So you are forcing not to go to that maximized limit, wherein you are just stopping yourself from that temptation of going for your favorite kind of food, because that may be actually going to increase your cholesterol or a kind of sugar. So that is your kind of resisting the temptation of going at the upper scale. So resistance is from the upper side, whereas support is usually provided you from the bottom end. So that is basically the layman kind of meaning as far as support and resistance is being concerned. So let's understand what does support and resistance mean as far as the securities market is concerned. So support and resistors are basically the major indicators of technical analysis. Support is the price level at which demand is thought to be strong enough to prevent the price from rising further. So that's the kind of definition which can be presented as far as the securities markets are concerned. So support is basically the price level at which demand is actually thought to be very strong enough to prevent the price from rising any further. So that's the basic lowest kind of price which will be available, beyond which the stock is not going to fall in that kind of level. So I'll be narrating you with an example in my forthcoming slide, so you don't have to worry about the practical implication of the support and resistance. I will actually brief you regarding the same thing. Whereas in case of resistance, it is a price level at which selling is thought to be strong enough to prevent the price from rising further. Unfortunately, there is some mismatch in the writing over here. So support is the price level at which demand is thought to be strong enough to prevent the price from declining further. So support is basically provided you from the bottom end. So in support, it's not rising over here. It should have been declining. So that's mistyping, typographical error has been done. Whereas in case of resistance, it is the price level at which selling is thought to be strong enough to prevent the price from rising further. So that's from the upper end. So resistance is provided from the upper end. The support is provided from the bottom end. So guys, we all know that in any kind of financial markets, the prices are driven by the excessive supply, which is going down, and or excessive demand, which goes up. So supply is basically synonymous with bears in selling, whereas in case of demand is synonymous with bulls or buying. So if I'll tell you something about supply, you simply your thoughts go into regarding the selling. You think about selling something. Whereas if I'll talk to you regarding anything relating to demand, you'll simply think about buying, because that's how it goes on. So as demand increases, prices advance, and as supply increases, prices decline. So that's the normal economics and the normal human nature which is being involved in any kind of markets, be it financial markets, be it vegetable markets, be it any other kind of market. So that goes on regarding the same things. So this is how support and resistance actually works. So the concept of support and resistance is essential to understand and interpret the markets. That's extremely important, guys. Support and resistance are created because price has got a memory. So well, just as a ball bounces when it hits the floor or drops after being thrown to the ceiling, support and resistance define natural boundaries for rising and falling prices. Buyers and sellers are constantly in a battle mode. It's a war zone outgoing on. Support defines basically the level where buyers are strong enough to keep the price from falling further, whereas resistance defines that level where sellers are too strong to allow the price to rise further. So that's again the briefing regarding the support and resistance. So make it clear, guys. It's absolutely an important kind of concept and it requires a lot more concentration. So I'll repeat that word again. So support basically defines the level where buyers are strong enough to keep the prices from falling further, whereas in case of resistance, that defines that level where sellers are too strong to allow price to rise further. Support and resistance usually play different kind of roles in uptrends and downtrends. In any kind of uptrend, support is where a pullback from rally should end, whereas in any kind of downtrend, resistance and where the pullback should be from the declining end. So that's how it goes on. And as I have just narrated to you, support and resistance are created because price has memory. So those prices where significant buyers and sellers enters the market in the past will tend to generate a similar mix of participants. When price again returns to that level, so that's how it works on. When price pushes above resistance, it becomes a new support level. When prices fall below support, that level becomes its resistance. And when a level of support or resistance is penetrated, the price tends to thrust forward sharply as the crowd notices the breakout and jumps into buy or sell. So that is where happens, which is called as breakout, false breakout. So when a level is penetrated but it doesn't attract the crowd of buyers or sellers, it often falls back below the old support and resistance. And this failure is basically known as a false breakout. So it's a situation where level is penetrated but does not attract a crowd of buyers and sellers. And then the prices often falls back to the below of old support or resistance. That is the case. Now let's understand this support and resistance with an example. So this is again a chart relating to Interglobe Aviation Limited. So that's Indigo again. So I'll simply provide you the basis wherein you'll be understanding what is a support level and what is a resistance level. So if you can just see guys, on 8th of August and between 22nd of August, here is that's the moment where the lowest of the position was touched for Interglobe Aviation Limited. So that was around 800 rupees. However, if in case you'll be just noticing the figure on the upside of 14th of November, so the price touched to an up of rupees almost 950. So here's the resulting impact for support and resistance. So if you can just see, on 9th of August it was 800 rupees. So that is about the support which has been provided by two of the components. So support is basically the position wherein the price won't decline further. So herein that was 800 rupees, and resistance was the level the price won't go up beyond this figure, and that was 950 in case of 14th of November. So that is all about support level and resistance level. Resistance is the topmost level beyond which price won't move further. Support is basically the lowest most point after which the price won't decline further. So prices won't go beyond 950 and price won't fall beyond 800. So that's the support and the resistance. That was the example relating to support and resistance. I hope you guys got the complete clarity as to what support and resistance usually mean, and completely about the charts as well. I'll be concluding my video with a dose of motivation, and that will be: do your work with your whole heart and you will succeed. And surely there is so little kind of competition. This quote was mentioned by, quoted basically by Albert Hubbard. It's been said time and again. So one must do something with a complete heart in it. So there's no point of doing anything in life wherein you don't have that kind of aspiration, you don't have that kind of belief in you that you'll be able to strive for it. So there's no point of doing any of the work half-heartedly. So it's always better to do any kind of dream job, any kind of work that you want to flourish your career in, you want to aspire, you want to make yourself determined to do any kind of work only with your complete heart in it. So that's where you'll be able to succeed. And if you'll be doing any of the work with your complete heart in it, so don't you think guys that will be so less of competition, because you have put in all your efforts in it. So there will be so less competition, because certainly there are not many people in the market who are actually doing what they really believe in. So if you are the person who does something only on the things which you are truly believing in, so certainly you'll be one such kind of person who will be so endangered kind of species, right? So go for it, go for a best shot, do your work with your whole heart and you will succeed. That's the quote of the day. And with this, I'll say thank you on behalf of the Edupedia world. Keep interacting, guys, via questions, comments, via your YouTube boxes. Stay connected. That will help us in understanding your needs way better. And we love to receive your feedback time and again, guys. Perfect. Love you all. Take care. Bye.